First of all, thank you. Thanks everyone for joining almost on time. And as we know today, we will be talking about the new year. A lot of people are aware of, and everyone is aware of January 1st is the new year. The year changes on January 1st. However, not many people are aware that today, generally in March, April, New Year comes, while it is celebrated across Indian states by different names, but still not many people are aware of it until you're born into that tradition. So we are going to quickly talk about that because knowledge is important, right? Unless we know why we are celebrating, it's not a random day that today, okay, someone decided today should be the new year and we start celebrating it, right? So what is the logic behind celebrating new year today? And then we would go and establish the significance of Vishnu Sahasranam. I'm sure maybe everyone or most of you are already aware of it. If not, we are going to talk about it and what is the spiritual significance and why we are talking about Vishnu Sahasranam today on the New Year day. Before that, since it's a new year as well, let's begin our session by invoking the blessings of Viganaharta, Lord Sri Ganesha. Gajananam Bhutagadi Sevitam Kapit Jambhu Falcharu Bhakshanam Umasutam Shok Vinashakarakam. And let's also invoke the blessings of our Guru. If you already have a physical Guru in body, and if not, you can think of your Isht as your Guru. You can think of Dattatreya as your Guru if you don't have one. Or you could think of the Dakshin Murti form of Lord Shiva or Sri Krishna as his Vishwa Guru. Or your mother, as all of us have our mother as our first Guru. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Dhyana Moolam, Gurur Murti, Puja Moolam, Gurur Padam, Mantra Moolam, Gurur Vakyam, Moksha Moolam, Gurur Kripa, Akhanda Mandalakaram, Vyaptam Yena Characharam. Tatpadam darshitam yena tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Great. Just one request I have. While I see most of you are studying astrology or are aware of astrology, so probably you would already know this. But if someone doesn't know this and this is the first time you are listening to this, which is fine, and I'm sure you may have a few questions, I would request you to write down your questions and I would take those questions towards the end once we are through the session, because we would want to end the session strictly at 8 a.m., right? Because I'm sure people have other commitments as well. And those who want to stay back, ask their questions, you can do that once we formally end the session, the formal session. All right, so let's dive into the Vikram Samvat 2083. But before that, as I said, everyone celebrates January 1st as a New Year day, which is okay. But is it really a new year? I would like to know from all of you, please come unmute yourself and tell me what is your understanding of New Year? What is a New Year to you? What should happen on a New Year? One or
Sun nakshatra change.
nakshatra changes, okay?
After coming in contact.
Something new should happen.
Wait, clarification, Manaji. So are you asking what are the aspects to do from Shastri standpoint, or are you saying
No,
what is
I'm
generally
asking,
expected when we say New Year?
yeah, what is your expectation of a New Year? What should happen on New Year Day? What should change?
Well, the season changes. That's our New Year.
Something
And,
should change, right? Something up there should change. The season should change, or anything, right? I mean, people who know Jyotish, they can probably understand this better. The Rashi should change. Something should change. The moon's transit should change. The sun transit should change. Something should change up in the heavens, right? But January 1st, while all of us celebrate this as a new year beginning, nothing changes up in the sky. Nothing changes up in the sky. So why do we celebrate January 1st as a new year, right? So let me first establish the fact that there is no astronomical base to this. January 1st, nothing changes astronomically up in the sky. It's not the day of solstice or equinox, nothing changes. So what is the origin of this? It comes from the ancient Roman calendar, right? And it is mostly administrative. And as I said, it has no astronomical base. It was actually commissioned by Julius Caesar around 45 BC. And he introduced it while he abolished the ancient Roman calendar. But he retained January 1st as the beginning of the new year. So in the olden calendar, January 1st was still taken as the new year. So he retained that part. Of course, he abolished the old calendar and he started his own calendar. And that calendar came to be known as Julian calendar, right? But let me tell you something. If you think logically, January the 1st was not the beginning of a new year, even in Roman calendar. Because if you look at the months like September, October, November, December, September is the 7th month, October is the 8th month, November is the 9th month, and December is the 10th month. If you start from January, September is not the 7th month. So logically, it shows that at some point of time in past, the new year was starting in March, even in the Roman calendar, but somehow it got changed later in history, right? So by the time Julius Caesar came, they were already celebrating January 1st as the new year, and he retained that, right? While he abolished the old calendar, but he retained that practice. Now, if we quickly look at January, probably why it was taken as the new year, we will understand that as well. But January actually is named after the Roman god Janus, and he's considered the god of beginning, of doors and transition. So he is often depicted two-faced. So one is looking in the future and one is looking in the past. So it is a transition from past to future. So probably that's the reason why January 1st was taken as the new year, right? And you'll be surprised to know that why it was selected, because somewhere around in 153 BC, the Roman Senate decided, because the top officials were selected on that particular day, so they decided that their calendar will start on that day. So it was more administrative, aligned to political year than actually the solar year, right? And then, of course, as we know, to this Julian calendar, in around 1582, Pope Gregory the 13th, he corrected the Julian calendar by adding the leap year, and it came to be known as Gregorian calendar. So today we are formally, all of us, we are following Gregorian calendar for all the civil purposes. So clearly it shows that it is not an astronomical calendar. It is generally a more
Mm.
random date
Administrative.
selected to match the administrative purposes. But this was only introduced in India by the British. What were we following earlier? Some of us are still following the native calendar of the subcontinent. It is known as Vikram Samvat, and it is purely lunar. So it's based on astronomical happenings up in the heavens. It's called Vikram Samvat. Samvat is the year. It means the year. And Vikram, why is it called Vikram Samvat? Because it was commissioned by King Vikramaditya.
Vikramaditya.
And that is why it is called Vikram Samvat. He commissioned it in 57 BC. Do you know who Vikramaditya is? In your childhood days, how many of you watched Vikram Vetal? I'm referring to the same king, same Vikramaditya.
Also. Vikram.
Yeah. So if you see, he started this calendar, commissioned this calendar in 57 BCE. That means to the Gregorian calendar, if you add 57 years, you will get the current Samvat running. So since it's 2026, you add 57 years to it, it comes to 2083. So today, the new year that starts is 2083. That's the year of Vikram Samvat. So Vikram Samvat, the lunar calendar, it begins on Chaitra Shukla Pratipada, which is today. Today, the day is Chaitra Shukla Pratipada, right? So it starts today. Now, I know people who know Jyotish probably understand Chaitra Shukla Pratipada, and people who do not know Jyotish may not understand this or may have just heard about it, right? So we are going to go into Chaitra Shukla Pratipada, having established that we follow Vikram Samvat in the subcontinent, and it begins on Chaitra Shukla Pratipada. So what is Chaitra Shukla Pratipada? Now, there are three things to it: Chaitra, Shukla, Pratipada. But before we get into it, let's first understand the Puranic significance of it. So in the Puranas, it is mentioned that Chaitra Shukla Pratipada was actually the day when Lord Brahma or Prajapati began creation. So on this day. So this was considered the first sunrise and the starting of the cosmic year. So that is as per the Puranas, that Chaitra Shukla Pratipada is the beginning of the creation, as Lord Prajapati created the universe, the creation on this day. But now let's go to the other dimension of it, which is the astronomical significance. What is the astronomical significance of Chaitra Shukla Pratipada? Now, as I had mentioned, there are three aspects to it. Chaitra, which is the month, the mass. Shukla, which is the fortnight, Paksh, as we understand, and Pratipada, which is the date or Tithi. Let's quickly dive into all these three. We'll start with the lunar month. I'm sure most of you are aware of the 12 lunar months that you see here on the screen, right? With the corresponding English months. So you have Chaitra, Vaishakh, Jaisht, Ashar, Shravan, Bhadrapad, Ashwin, Kartik, Margashirsha, Paush, Magh, Falgun. And now we understand how do we get these names. We get the names from the nakshatra in which you have the full moon in that month. So in Chaitra Mas, the full moon is going to happen in Chitra nakshatra. And if you remember, 180 degrees from Chitra nakshatra, if you draw a line, that will be the first point of Aries. So how astronomical that is, right? So Chaitra is considered the first month because one of those reasons, as I said. Also, this is the beginning of the springtime. It corresponds with the springtime. So it's basically the life is getting renewed. Just 1 minute. And it is also very close to the spring equinox. Sun is almost at the equator. So you have day and night. The length of day and night are equals. Winter has ended. The spring has started. So life begins to regenerate. So that is the importance of Chaitra Mas, right? So that's the first aspect, Chaitra, why we see Chaitra as the beginning of the first month of the year. Next, we move to the second one, which is the lunar fortnight, which we say Shukla, right? Chaitra Shukla. Why Shukla? Now, as we know that there are two fortnights, or as we say, the Paksha, right? There is Shukla Paksh and the Krishna Paksh. Now, what is Shukla? Shukla means bright, and Krishna means dark. So, of course, it's to do something with the moon. So Shukla Paksh is nothing but when the moon is waxing, and Krishna Paksh is when moon is waning. To help you understand this better, so you have the moonless night, what we also call the new moon, right? And then if you see the moon starts waxing, it starts increasing, expanding in shape. Then comes the full moon, when moon is in its full glory, 180 degrees from the sun. Since it's a circle, after full moon, the moon starts moving back towards the sun, and it will start dropping its size again and going back to new moon. So this is basically, we say 15-day cycle, but approximately it comes to 27 point some hours. So that's exactly the lunar month, which comprises of Shukla Paksh and Krishna Paksh. So clearly, our rishis knew that Shukla Paksh is considered apt because that is when the life energy is increasing, because the moon is increasing in size, right? So that's why the first Shukla Paksh of Chaitra Mas is taken. So today is the beginning of the Shukla Paksh of Chaitra Mas. Yesterday was Amavasya, right? So today is the beginning of the Shukla Paksh. That is why it is taken as the beginning of the year. So it's the first Shukla Paksh of the Chaitra Mas. So again, as I've explained, moon is growing, energy is expanding, and symbolically life is increasing. Now we come to the third aspect of it, which is Tithi. So Chaitra Shukla Pratipada. Again, people who know Jyotish would know one Tithi is equal to 12 degrees. Tithi, the lunar Tithi, is nothing but the difference between moon and sun. So how many degrees of distance moon has moved away from sun, right? So one Tithi comprises of 12-degree difference between the two. To help you understand this better, so if you see, this is how the moon moves around the earth, right? So if moon is here, of course, this part of the moon is illumined. This is totally dark. You will not be able to see this part of the moon. And since this part faces the earth, which means you will not be able to see the moon. And that becomes Amavasya, or the new moon. And then when moon is 90 degrees, from earth, if you see, this is your crescent, which is almost halfway through. And then here, this part of moon is visible to earth, and that is fully illumined. That is the full moon, which is 180 degrees. And then again at 270 degrees, if you see, you get the half crescent again, and then it goes back to the new moon. So that's the whole cycle as I explained. So if you see, this is 0 degrees. By this time, the difference between sun and moon is 90 degrees. This is like a straight line, 180 degrees, and that is 270 degrees. So this is how it would go. So if you see here, as the degree difference is increasing, the Tithi is increasing. 180 degree is the full moon, and then slowly it goes back. So the moment sun and moon come together, the difference between them is 0 degrees. That is the end of Amavasya and the beginning of Pratipada. So if you see here, the moment moon and sun are together, that is 0 degree difference, Pratipada starts. And since Pratipada is the first Tithi, that is why the new year begins today. So it is the Tithi of the Shukl Paksh of Chaitra Mas. And that is the astronomical significance of this day, why the new year starts today. It's the end of the Amavasya and the starting of Pratipada, which is the new Paksh, which is Shukl Paksh. Now, if I show you in the Kundali, this is how it would look like. Now, this is today, 19th March 2026. It's around 6:53, 16 seconds. So the new year has just begun, not even an hour ago, right? At around 6:53, because sun and moon, if you see, are exactly at the same longitude. Here, if you go up till the seconds, it is 35, 35. So it's exactly 0 degrees. Both sun and moon are in Uttar Bhadrapada in Pisces, and this marks the beginning of the new year. Yeah. So across the country, it is known by different names, right? In the northern states, people generally call it Nav Samvatsar as well. In Maharashtra, this is celebrated as Gudi Padwa. In Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, this is Ugadi. In Kashmir, it is celebrated as Navre. And in Sindhi culture, it is celebrated as Cheti Chand.